What's up guys, welcome to my Kengan Omega chapter 137 video. We finally got the end of the final fight and the Purgatory vs Kengan tournament with our boy Ohma getting that win. A lot of people are quite pissed off with Lolong's performance throughout. I can't deny I'm a little bit disappointed, but there's quite a few things people seem to be overlooking that I'll cover throughout today's video. As a whole, this final chapter was fairly decent. I did enjoy the flashback with Raian, just getting stronger and stronger as Ohma does more insanity. The final blow to finish Lolong, of course, isn't what I wanted. Everyone wanted to see Ohma pull out his Demon's Band again, but it seems like they're saving that for later fights, especially with Ohma's final line of the chapter, which I'll talk about soon. But first, if you haven't already, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe. Now, let's begin. The title of this chapter was also quite wacky, The One Thing, but it begins with Lolong entering his super small stance again, sticking to his initial style throughout. So that's one major disappointment for me. I wanted Lolong to pull out multiple styles throughout the tournament, not stick to his own version of select and throwing like elbows for the majority. He didn't have really any flashy moves, and Ohma definitely carried the appeal of this fight as a whole for the insanity he pulled out. We have Misa talking about how Lolong is pretty much just an absolute mad lad, how he's focusing fully on offense still even after taking that crazy change of scenery blow last chapter. Also mentioning that our captain, referring to Ohma, can't go on much longer, showing that Ohma is indeed quite injured. He can't use the advance anymore and is taking quite a beating from Lolong throughout. So as a whole, I do think this fight was a high diff victory for Ohma. Remember last chapter, Ohma needed to put out his maximum advance to actually stay in the fight, and now he's quite injured, but again he kinda wrecked Lolong in the later portion of this chapter. So the final showdown's beginning. Lolong isn't going for his ultra close quarters fighting style anymore. He's using longer strikes by using his shoulder blade to extend his reach. Still able to land these slower strikes on Ohma, maybe due to Ohma's injury, or regardless, Lolong's strikes are just very fast. He's pretty much beating on Ohma again, with Lolong saying, "You fought well, but I'm going to win." And you know what that means? We're going to get another flashback for our boy Ohma, and this time we see him fighting with Kure Raian again. Raian's beating on him a little bit, and we actually see Kure Raian use a Kure family tradition technique on Ohma, which is unexpected. He used the Earthcraper, which of course Ohma uses to defeat Lolong in this chapter. So again, reminding us that all the Kure clan techniques Ohma's used throughout this fight, Raian has already mastered them and is capable of using them. And we do see that their daily matches were fairly intense, with Raian screaming, "I'm not going to stop until he's dead." So, you know, very unhinged as usual, and Ohma pretty much saying the same thing back. Then we get some insight from Ohma, which I think is much needed and very interesting. He says, "My new heart gave me a whole new lease on life, but I'm still doing the same old things, just fighting day after day." So he's questioning what he's actually doing with his life, but regardless, he's just going to continue fighting. And we actually see him landing Flashing Steel on Kure Raian in their match here, but Raian is too tanky, while also pointing out that his timing was shit. Ohma says, "But this is all I have. This is the one thing I'm not going to let anyone else best be in." So of course, the potential implication that his mastery of the Nico style has evolved even more, perhaps, not too sure about that. But we cut back to the fight with Ohma showing Lolong a lot of respect. I know a lot of people have already commented down below calling Lolong a job and everything like that, but Ohma does show him respect, saying, "You're still pulling out all these different kinds of attacks, even though you should have been knocked out ages ago." Like, everyone needs to remember that Ohma used Chains of Scenery with the maximum output advance against Lolong last chapter. Ohma hadn't used a real Nico style technique in maximum output advance until that moment, especially the Change of Scenery technique, something he never even used in Ashura. We had only seen his master use it previously, kinda implying that it's a very high level technique Ohma may have not mastered until over the 2-year time skip. So a very powerful Nico style technique with a maximum output advance, and Lolong was still able to get up. That just speaks volumes to how strong Lolong truly is. Ohma also saying, "You forced me to admit just how strong the King of Purgatory is." But then he hits the fire combo, the Earth Scraper, and then the Flashing Steel smash to send Lolong flying. The countdown, we see everyone smiling, including Joyce and Gaolang, which is, you know, we don't see that too often. And we see Lolong with an actual crater in his chest as he's been knocked out. The fight is Ohma, and our GOAT Ohma has won with this amazing panel to end the chapter. I couldn't lose to you no matter how strong you were. I've got too many people waiting in line for a rematch. You know what that means? Ohma wasn't even focusing too much on Lolong. He's focusing on fighting Kure, Raian again, and people like Croaky, most likely the Tiger Nico, and a few others. So yeah, Ohma truly was goated throughout this fight without a doubt. Definitely the carry of appeal. We see Nogi, Matsuda, everyone celebrating, and we see the Sea of Purgatory just back-faced and then walking away. He was extremely confident throughout the tournament, so he can take this huge L. And Lolong as a whole was extremely strong, but he pretty much just got outplayed by Ohma during this fight, showing how much of a monster Ohma is when it comes to one-on-one fights like this. One major thing to also remember that a lot of people are forgetting, this whole Kengan vs Purgatory tournament was just an arc in Kengan Mega. Everyone is going to compare it to the Kengan Ashura Annihilation tournament, but do remember that the Annihilation tournament was the whole manga of Kengan Ashura. It was like 85% of the story was focusing on the tournament, while this was just an arc in the broader Kengan Mega story, which of course is going to continue. I'm expecting the whole worm stuff and the whole worm war is about to commence very shortly. But yeah, this fight, I think it's around middle of the range out of all the fights in the tournament. I will make a fight ranking video sometime in the future. I definitely think Ohma was the main carry, pulling out all these crazy new moves we wanted to see again, and yeah, Ohma definitely the MVP of the whole tournament and this fight as a whole. Lolong, very strong. I will make a dedicated how strong is Lolong video and my ranking videos for Team Purgatory and Kengan, but as a whole, you can safely say that Team Kengan was much stronger compared to Team Purgatory. Like, we have Kure Raian, who's pretty much equal to current Ohma, and then we have Kana Yito, who's potentially stronger or equal to those two. So we have at least 3 characters who are potentially stronger than Lolong. So yeah, as a whole, Team Kengan is in better condition. Just look at Team Purgatory. All of them are like cleft beyond belief. But yeah, that is the end of the tournament, and now Kengan has absorbed Purgatory. I'm guessing if we get a future tournament, we're going to see a few Purgatory fighters returning, which is going to be pretty interesting. And Jirota in Kengan rules, hey, that's going to be pretty crazy. Also seeing Carlos again, a few others. So yeah, I'm excited for the future of the story, but I think the whole worm stuff is going to take over. And of course, the other fight we've all been waiting for, Kure Raian vs Edward Wu. I hope we actually cut to that next chapter and we don't have it get off screened or anything like that. That would be a real shame. Hope we see every second of it. And as a whole, I'm finally glad this tournament is over. It went on for a little bit over a year of weekly chapters. It was a fairly decent tournament as a whole. You should go back and reread a lot of the fights. A lot of them are pretty good, a lot more entertaining rereading all of it in one hit rather than waiting weekly for everything. I'm definitely going to do the same for this fight when I make my Lolong video, and my Purgatory ranking video should be out tomorrow as well. I've been working on that for a few days. But yeah, that should be everything for today's video. It was a very short chapter, but yeah, the end of the tournament. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you haven't already, make sure to follow my Twitter. It'll be, greatly appreciated. Join the Discord if you want to talk more about Kengan greatness. And as always, shout out to these people who support the channel via the Patreon. But yep, that's it guys. Peace.